How are you doing, everybody? Jonathan here, and in this video I'm going to go over a topic that I see in forums, on Facebook, on Twitter. It's a common thread among personal trainers, and that is help my client is not losing any weight. Now, the topic is going to go, this is going to go a little bit deeper in the rabbit hole than you may think on the surface, but I think it'll help a lot of people. So, when it comes to this, the first thing that you have to understand is that in the beginning, when you have your relationship with your client, either be in your boot camp or in your personal training session, you have to have a talk with them. All right, you have to help them understand that although your services are great, and I say this all the time, I kind of downplay my boot camp. Although my boot camp is great, it's going to help you get stronger, it's going to lower your resting heart rate, it's going to give you more energy, give you more confidence. It is not the main tool that will help you to lose the weight. You need to make sure that you do work on your own end in order to make sure that you see success in the area of fat loss. Otherwise, you'll be very disappointed. And I go out of my way to say this to my client mainly because they already believe that the boot camp is going to be the main thing that's going to help them get in shape. So it's my job to wedge in the importance of nutrition. And if you don't do that up front, oftentimes your clients will think that just because they put their money down for your services, that's essentially the magic wand that will equate to fat loss. Now, when it comes to your client in particular, let's assume that the plan that you give them is sound and will be effective for their weight or fat loss. If people are not losing weight, the main reason why they're not losing weight is they're cheating. All right. Now, there are multiple ways that cheating happens. So let's talk about the client that sincerely looks to lose weight and is having difficulty. All right. Because people are not going to tell you that they're cheating on their diet mainly because they're ashamed. All right. They don't want to admit that they're not following a plan that you put for them. All right. Nobody's going to come into a situation, put money down, and then say, "I trust you to give me a plan to get me in shape." And then all of a sudden, just it's lunacy for me to say, all right, tell me what to do, and then I'm not going to do it, all right? So oftentimes clients will not tell you the full story when it comes to their eating. They will not tell you the foods that they pick on while they're preparing their foods. They're not going to tell you that one snack that they reached for while they were under peer pressure, whatever the case may be. So they're cheating in one way or another. So the goal is, how do we get around that? How do I identify that? And how do we overcome that? So, a reason why they may be cheating is because they feel like a victim. All right. Now, a victim can work in a lot of ways. A victim can be a victim of their circumstances because they tend to put too much on their plate, or a victim can be a victim socially where they feel too much peer pressure from their social group or from their work. It's somebody's birthday, let's have some cake. It's it may be a situation of work where they're constantly in meetings and they are just bombarded. Anybody that's gone to a conference before, all they do is bombard you with bagels and fruit. Not that there's anything wrong with fruit, but it's mainly bagels that they give you, and they expect you to live off of that for however many hours that they have you just seated and they're talking at you. So our clients go through different work styles and different work lifestyles that they have to overcome. It's your job as a trainer to help them plan accordingly. You have to understand that in addition to being an administrator of fitness, you're also going to work as a life planner. So not everything is perfect. Not all of your clients get to go home and then prepare all their meals in real time when they're about to eat them, like I do, or like maybe you do. You have to do front-end work. So the number one thing that you can advocate to your clients will be volume cooking, essentially cooking in volume, making use of Tupperware the same way that a lot of trainers do, and then disseminating the meals throughout the week. That way they're never caught in a bind in the middle of the day and reacting to their circumstances where, oh, I'm caught here, I guess I have to have fast food or what have you, all right? The next thing that they can do is you can equip your clients with verbal cues to use when they're put under peer pressure. A lot of times people don't know how to handle their friends not being supportive of their goals, all right, and that's where they make their mistakes. So their friends will often say things like, "You look fine, why are you dieting, you've already lost enough weight, just this once is a big one, just a little piece, how bad is it going to be?" And you have to teach your clients to draw the line. So one of the tools that I use and one of the tools that I give my clients is, hey, listen, I'm just trying this out, this eating style. Don't say diet, don't say regimen. I'm just trying out this eating style and I have to stay away from this, and then give them a date. But by in 3 weeks I'll be able to try whatever I want. I just really need to know that this works. Does one bite hurt? Your friends will then continue to press them. Is one bite really going to change everything? Yes. All right, and then just leave it at that. You have to build in your client a sense of accountability, just like a strong constitution for what they're doing to counteract the peer pressure. Because honestly, their friends don't want to see them lose weight. Their friends don't want to see them become more attractive than they are. Their friends don't want to see them progress, because it shines light on them and shows their friends how weak they are. So you have to explain to your client, your friends in this effort may not be on your side. So you have to do the right things for you to make sure that you see your goal. Now, you may find that your client is following everything that you tell them to do in both planning and with the verbal cues, but they're still not losing weight. In that instance, I would suggest that you see their primary care physician, because there could be some kind of metabolic issue. All right, so it could be a case where they have a thyroid issue. All right, and in such an instance, that may contribute to their inability to lose fat or lose weight. All right, so if after seeing their primary care physician, you see that there is no issue, then look to beyond their extracurriculars and the amount of stress they put on themselves. Look at stress, sleep, and water intake. These are often ignored aspects of fitness and play a huge part as to whether or not you're able to lose weight or lose fat. So, are they getting enough sleep? Are they keeping their stress levels low? I always say this at the end of every video. Are they hydrating? I always say that at the end of every video. So make sure that your clients are doing those 3 things. Now, if there is some kind of metabolic issue, it will not be uncommon for your client to resign themselves to thinking, all right, I have this issue, I guess I shouldn't even try at all. Why even bother? All right? You then have to communicate to your client that life isn't fair. All right? Everybody has their own plot of land that they have to deal with. And although their friend who lost 25 pounds in whatever months may not have the same metabolic issue, they have their own things to deal with. All right? So you have to encourage your client to do whatever steps the doctor takes, the doctor has them take, and then continue on with their program. Understanding that it may be a little bit slower, but for the sake of their health, it's worth it for your client to give that extra effort to see the goal that they initially sought out when they first employed you. Now, the last thing that you can do with this client is you can work on creating an extra session for the benefit of their nutritional habits. So what do I mean by that? Instead of taking a session to work out, take them to a supermarket. Sit them down and then talk to them after they've done all their grocery shopping. Because oftentimes these clients will, if they feel like a victim, feel like there's nothing that they can do, all right? And I'm very good with looking at carts when I go to the supermarket, especially if I run into the clients, and I'm picking things out. I just can't help it, all right? And you'll find that the healthiest people tend to have the healthiest carts. All right, the people that struggle the most have really, really sugar-heavy carts or carb-heavy carts. And why is this the case? Because of their kids. But if you explain to them, listen, if you're looking to get in shape and you're looking to instill these, if you feel these principles of fitness work, shouldn't they work for your kids as well? All right, the main reason why a lot of people have these bad habits is because it was instilled in them since childhood. So you can be the catalyst to change in your family. All right, so although your kids may kick and scream, and listen, I don't have kids, I don't know what it's like, but there are alternatives. And the best thing that you have to understand is your kids don't have any other options. If they want cookies that bad, tell them to get a job. All right? It seems kind of tongue-in-cheek, but I'm very serious. All right? The kids don't have any other option. Either they're going to get a job or they're going to starve. So one or the other, but allow your client to be the catalyst of a fitness turnaround in their household. All right? And it's only going to benefit them long term, because now they're no longer tempted by those cookies, cakes, creams, crackers, chips, candy, chocolate that they tend to keep in their house. Now, that's for the client that sincerely looks to lose weight but doesn't really, they feel like a victim, they feel trapped, they don't know how to take a handle on life. All right? There's a second type of client that does take a handle on life, they just do it in a diabolical manner. This video is inspired by a question that I got recently where a trainer said, hey, my friend asked me to put together a workout program for them and I put it together for them, but they never want to come out to the park to work out. What do I do to get my friend to work out? And the answer is you have to let this client kind of drown on their own. All All right, let me give you some characteristics from my experience of the type of person that tends to take advantage of your services, but at the same time not really listen. All right, from what I've seen, they have two attributes. Number one, either they come to you, they put money down, they really don't need much of an explanation, they haven't come from a referral, they just say, all right, I need training, I'm going to get in shape, I'm ready to do this. All right. Usually, if you don't have to put any work into this client, easy come, easy go. They see their money as a magic wand that has now opened up the world to weight loss, and it's only the training that was wrong. They no longer consider a change in their outside lifestyle. Okay. The second kind of client that you'll see that tends to be this diabolical client is a client that says, I need you to yell at me. And whenever, you might hear this sometimes, whenever you hear a client say that to you, my response is, listen, that's not going to happen. First of all, I'm not the kind of trainer. Number two, you're an adult. You shouldn't need anybody to yell at you in order for you to do what you know is best for your body. And if you do, then you may need to find somebody else. There's a difference between inspiration, motivation, and then just yelling, all right, wanting it for them. And that's the biggest dilemma of a good personal trainer. What do I do when I have a client and I want their goals for them more than they want it for themselves? When you have a client like this, these are things that they'll do. They'll cheat constantly, and they'll make that their story. They'll tell you that they're cheating with no real shame. Hey, Jonathan, I just had blah, blah, blah this weekend. I really need a workout now. Or they'll constantly miss sessions. They'll constantly late cancel. They'll, they'll have no problem with not eating well. And then only when it comes to weigh-in time or check-in time will they give you grief about them not being able to lose weight. And in such an instance, you cannot take this client seriously. Now, I know this may not be received well, but for the sake of your own mental health, you can't stress out over this kind of client. You have to let them go. Why? Because the amount of energy that is required to keep this client happy can be spent on your good clients who actually listen. Case in point, I have a client who texts me every day. She does not need her hand held, but if she has a question, she really just needs me to open the door and then she'll take it from there. So she may say, hey, my macronutrients are off. What kind of foods can I take in? I'll give her some suggestions. She'll choose accordingly, and that will be the length of our conversation, 1 minute max. The diabolical client needs to sit down and tell me why they cheated, why it was okay, why they didn't listen to what I told them previous 5 weeks before. They'll come up with every excuse and they'll make it their song. And then they'll tell you why they need to get in shape in 2 weeks for this next party. And they're just going to cause you so much stress. The amount of time that you put into that one client, you can actually help several other clients. And even if you lost this diabolical client, the results that you get from your good clients that listen to you will only bring in more clients. It will only raise your reputation and will only help you longer term. So if you have a client that is kind of like stressing you out that much, perhaps it may be a good idea to let them go for a while. Maybe I don't think I can help you. All right, and I understand that money is a big issue, especially in personal training. Losing one client in personal training is a big hit. All right, so I hope that you're in a financial position to do so. But you have to understand, nothing is worth your mental health. All right, you can spend half the time that you spent dedicated to that diabolical client to replace them with a client that will appreciate you. All right, and will take your services more seriously, and then will be a walking billboard for you. All right. So you want to make sure that you keep everything in order in terms of how you help your clients that are struggling, and identifying clients that just aren't ready for training. Not everybody is ready for personal training, and this should be going into your first talk with your clients. That when you decide that you want to lose weight, lose fat, it's almost going to become like getting a second job, because your whole lifestyle changes. Everything that you did, you have to consider as wrong, because that is what led to the body that you currently have. You're going to have to make a massive change, and you can't have a lot on your plate to do that, because you're going to have to shop differently, you're going to have to prepare differently, you're going to have to sleep differently, your habits are going to have to be different, you may watch less TV. I find that that's a big thing. So if you don't preach to your client up front that this is going to be a major, major effort, it's not just coming to see me for an hour or a half hour, 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week. It's changing the entire landscape about how you run your life. It's going to be very hard for your client to see these end goals. So, you have a lot of resources. The MyFitnessPal page, if you get your client on MyFitnessPal, you can track them in real time. At the very least, you can catch something before it happens. And if the scale dictates that your client isn't losing weight, take them back to step number 1. All right. See if they feel victimized. See if they'll listen to you. See if they'll apply some of the principles that I've outlined for you. And if that still doesn't work, make sure that they see their primary care physician. Make sure that they're getting sleep. Make sure that they're taking water in. Make sure that they're not overloading their schedule with extracurriculars that they don't need right now to maintain a stable life. So, in addition to being somebody that administers exercise, you're going to be very much a life planner. And if you didn't know that that's part of the job, now you know. So, I hope you found this video helpful. I hope it wasn't too long-winded. If you found this information useful, the number one thing that you can do is share this video. Share it on Twitter, share it on Google+, share it on Facebook, share it on any social media outlet that you can to help get the word out. If you just stumbled upon this video, subscribe to this channel, as I dedicate myself to giving information to new trainers, experienced trainers, to help elevate the fitness industry and keep your growing pains as minimal as possible. Add me as a friend on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter. A lot of the videos that I make are inspired by questions that I get. So if you have questions, ask me. I usually just give it back to you in an organized manner with my experience rolled up into it. So I think that's about it. There are going to be more videos to come. And if you have any questions or comments specifically on this topic, comment below on the YouTube channel and I'll do my best to answer them. So, remember to eat healthy, hydrate, drive safe, stress levels low, get rest, don't stop anybody. Love your clients, they will love you back. I will see you all tomorrow or the next day, and you have a good one.